name is Maddie, and not everybody is born with a green thumb. I know, personally, when I first started growing plants, I killed a lot of them. I've worked in a greenhouse for 3 years, and I'm here to teach you about how to not only take care of your plants, but also about different types of plants. When going to buy a plant, you have 2 different types to look at. There's annuals, which complete their full growing cycle and then they die off. So they can vary place to place. So in Michigan's climate, plants like a snapdragon will live for only the summer and then die off in the winter, but they don't grow back in the spring. Perennial will grow back in the spring. A perennial is any plant that will live for 2 or more years. So an example of a perennial would be like grass. Grass is a perennial. Hostas are a perennial. There's many different types, and those can also vary from place to place, whether a plant is a perennial or an annual based on the place's climate. Houseplants, you don't have to worry as much about that because you are inside, so you have a little bit more leeway. But yeah, there's some plants are harder than others to take care of. My personal favorite is a pothos or a philodendron. This is a golden variegated pothos. Extremely easy to take care of. Likes low light, doesn't need much water. Basically, it could be on the brink of death and it's still perfectly fine. You just gotta give it a little bit of water and they will bounce right back. A philodendron looks a lot like a pothos. This one's really little. One main difference is philodendron has more of a heart-shaped leaf and is thinner, while a pothos has thicker leaves and will stand up on their own a little bit easier. If you can't tell, I have multiple plants. I have another one here, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah. Another really easy plant for beginners are succulents and cacti. This is a small jade. It's a really easy succulent. Does like a lot of bright light though, but you don't have to worry about watering a lot. Watering is actually an easy way to kill these guys. They have to dry out a lot before. I personally wait till the soil is pretty much bone dry to even water. Cacti are another really easy plant to grow, just like a succulent. Don't water. Let them dry out. Be careful with touching them. This one especially hurts, trust me. This one's okay, but yeah. Earlier in my video, I mentioned a plant that's in a little glass jar of water and was just sitting there, and I said I was going to mention it later. I'm not in my dorm, so I can't do that specific plant. So basically, I was propagating another pothos from my original plant, but since I'm not there and I can't show you how to do it on a pothos, I can show you how to do it on a snake plant. Basically, propagation is taking a cutting or a leaf, some other part of the plant, and using it to create another plant. So with a snake plant, you cut off just one long leaf of it. Take it. I have a cup of water right here. Kind of can't see, but just a couple inches. And it's super easy. You just take it, take a couple inches, cut it. Maybe don't drop it on the floor. No. Then you just do that for the rest of the leaf and then just set it in water. Basically, you just leave it. Switch out the water every couple weeks, it'll be fine. So propagating a pothos, I would also use the water propagation. And basically, so if you look, there's this right here, that's a little root. So if you cut off at the node, or even at this, not this next node because there's no leaf, but the nearest part down here, and then you just put it in water. Wait a couple weeks, pothos grow pretty quickly, so you shouldn't have to wait that long. and you'll be able to transfer it over to soil after it gets like a couple inches of roots. There's also another method of propagation where you use soil, and basically you just take a leaf or a small cutting and you just place it in the soil. The plant, I found this works best with only succulents and not a plant like pothos or anything, because they really like water and you don't want to dry them out. But here's a soil propagation of a jade. You can see that it's just on the original leaf. It's just been sitting in the soil, and you grow a little plant. And after a little bit, you can plant it and all that. We just leave it sitting on top of the soil for right now because it still has pretty short roots. But yeah. When taking care of a plant, you gotta be really careful about overwatering, because an overwatered plant will develop like yellow, wilted leaves. It can stunt the plant's growth. It can increase dieback of a plant, and it just ends up not being very healthy. Overwatering can lead to something called root rot, and root rot is exactly what it sounds like. It's the rotting of the plant's roots from the consequence of too much watering and or not enough drainage, and that was from Lennon and George. I'll credit them at the end. Certain varieties of plants require little to no light, while some need bright, direct light. But if you have a plant that likes indirect light, the leaves can become damaged if they're in too much sunlight. According to Science Magazine, this is because if they're exposed to too much sunlight, the molecules inside the plant absorb too much energy than they can handle, and it generates a species of oxygen that can destroy the plant, which leads to damage. But also, you gotta keep in mind, too little sunlight can also harm the plant because they're not getting enough energy. So you can look on a little tag that comes in a plant, or even Google the name of the plant and it will tell you how to figure that out. Also, you can look at... Thanks for watching the video. Sorry that my camera quality changed halfway through. I forgot my SD card at my dorm. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll add the credits in after this clip. Bye.